So today we'll be making a brand new tier list, ranking every meta unit in Anime Last Stand, as of the most recent Fullmetal Alchemist update. Please keep in mind the rankings in this video are just my opinion, but I still hope you find the video helpful. If you do, maybe leave a like or subscribe. But anyways, let's get into it. Okay, so today we'll be starting off with the rankings from my last tier list video. If you have any questions for the units you see here, I'd recommend you go check that video out. Otherwise, we have the usual setup here: meta overall, meta infinite, meta early, support, good, and farms. Now before I get into the brand new Fullmetal Alchemist units, I do want to make a few changes to the rankings we have here. So Meliodas I'm going to move down from meta overall. I feel like overall his damage isn't too great anymore, and you probably wouldn't want to run him on your main team. We also have quite a few changes to the meta early tier. So I've been kind of conflicted on if I want to consider units that cost more than 1k as meta early, after the soul rework and how it made it supposedly easier to farm. I feel like even with the soul rework and like more cost reduction, more cash generated, 1.5k is still a little bit too expensive to be in the meta early tier. I'm going to move down at Yorichi into the good tier and below Stark probably. I'm going to move Asta down to the good tier and probably right about here. And then Red Huntress also moved down to the good tier and right above Garp here. Now to replace some of the people we just moved from meta early, we're going to move Nami up there and put her right above Bone Demon. I feel like a majority of her value, not even just her damage, but like her passives and everything she does, is kind of only for early waves really. And then Kurumi we're going to move above Gyro. I don't know if there'd be any other changes to the list, not that I can think of right now. I mean, arguably we have some more like support-oriented units in the meta overall, but I think they can stay there for now. Oh, we can also probably move Idol above Bulma, because again, the soul rework was not too influential to farming as much as I thought it was. Because of the extra cash reduction from the soul rework, I thought that Bulma would probably be better than Idol, but kind of realizing Idol's still better. And I think that's all for the changes to the list, so should be ready to talk about the newest stuff now. First up, we have Tattooed Alchemist. And this guy's pretty cheap, he only costs 950. I'd say he qualifies for meta early, especially because he's hybrid on placement, has pretty good damage, and most of his value actually comes from his passive. The way he works is he's going to be on a cycle, so every attack he's going to have access to different effects, and that's going to change every time a wave passes. So for example, one of his effects he can have is Wind Shear and Dismantled. Another one he can cycle to when a wave passes is Crippled and Detonation. And then there's one with Soaked and Poison, and one with Black Flames and Solar Flames. He also does have Electrified on placement and a different passive that has Detonation. Overall, I mean, he has access to so many different effects, and that makes him really strong in my opinion. His damage is really good, he's very cost efficient up to like upgrade 4. After upgrade 4 he starts getting a little bit expensive, but overall I'd say he's definitely meta early. Very cheap, very good performance for the cost you put into him. Next up we have Shaky Prince, and this guy is very forgettable. I completely forgot about him in my showcase video, and that's actually never happened before. This was the first time ever that a unit like just completely escaped my mind. Not because we didn't have him, but because I just forgot he existed. Shaky Prince has a very boring design. It feels like this guy was made in like update 5 or something. Pretty much when he doesn't land a crit, he's going to gain crit chance, then that crit chance buff goes away when he lands a crit. That's like the main passive he has. It's really boring. Otherwise also there's like a chance every 25 seconds that he can deal 150% of his damage and steal a status effect of a random unit in his range for 3 attacks. I guess there are a couple cases where you can use him to like copy somebody else's effect. He's just not very good. I'd put him in probably the good tier and right about here. Next up we've got Kind King. And this guy is actually pretty strong I'd say, and has a very cool design in my opinion. So the way Kind King works is he has infinite range, he can cover the entire map, which I think is pretty cool. And before any of his passives he actually attacks very slow, he has very high SPA. But he has a passive where the closer an enemy is to him, the faster he attacks. So if you put him right by a track and right by an enemy, he can have like a 1 second SPA. Otherwise he starts attacking slower the further they get away. If you place Kind King in the right spot on the right map, he is very very strong. I think on placement for like 2k, he can do like 20 million DPS, which is really crazy. His AoE size is only like 3 or 4 enemies though, so he is a very much single target boss killing type of unit. But he's very very strong in my opinion, meta overall for sure. So overall it's very good for raw damage. Next up we have Flame Alchemist. And this guy's not too interesting, he's pretty basic, he's kind of a burn unit. He has a few ways of like reducing his SPA, and then while his SPA is reduced I think he gains Sunburn. He's a very cheap heal unit, only costs 450, and pretty good damage all for it. I'll put him in meta early for sure. He's got Burn, Blaze, access to Sunburn through one of his passives, I believe. And I think it's at upgrade 6 he gains an ability, which costs like 150k or something to get to, which gives him access to like Blue Flame, Black Flame, for some reason normal Burn and like stuff he already has. But overall this guy's very cheap, good damage, good for Burn. He's just kind of good for cheap early game damage, nothing too crazy though. For a short alchemist, this guy's going in the support tier. So this guy has a pretty high raw damage number, and like no special effect or anything. Pretty high range as well. And he has an ability at like upgrade 6 I think, or close to max out, where he can give another unit 25% of his own damage, which is pretty high. And then every so often, I forget what the actual value is, what the time interval is, but he's going to apply the focus effect onto a random unit. And if he applies focus to a unit with a damaging effect like Burn, he's going to start applying Accelerate on every hit. If he applies focus to a unit with no effect, he's going to start applying Pressure every hit. So pretty much he can debuff enemies and increase allies' damage. Definitely a support unit, and nothing too crazy in my opinion. For the armor guy, I'm going to go ahead and put him in the good tier probably. He is arguably kind of a support unit. He has weakened on every hit, and he's going to have a time stop on upgrade 5 I think. I'm pretty sure after a 10-second delay he has a 50-second time stop, which is not bad, but it's not too crazy either, because the cooldown's like 250 seconds or something. Put him in the good tier, he's alright, overall in my opinion. Now for these two forms here, we have the offense and defensive brothers. So if you max out both short alchemist and armored alchemist, you can actually fuse them together. They cost like 1 mil each though, so it is very expensive. By the way, the fusion is going to scale off the damage of both of them combined, kinda. Like it takes a portion of both of their damage and merges them into one. Now because these forms are very expensive, I'm going to say they can't really be meta overall, or like meta early, because you know, very expensive to get set up. But for the offense mode, I'm going to throw it into the meta infinite tier. In my opinion, there are two important things about this offense mode. So when you fuse the offense mode, they're going to actually do a mini nuke, a one-time 25% HP drain to enemies in their range, I think, or maybe enemies on the map, I don't know. I would say it's pretty strong for infinite runs. I mean, percent-based HP, always going to be good for infinite. When you use their active ability, it has like a couple other effects based on burn and bleed, but the main value is you can make enemies take 10% more damage from all sources, stacking up to 30%. Kinda just okay for the amount of cash you have to put into it. And then finally we have the defense mode, which is very similar to the offense mode, but a more like support-oriented form of the offense mode. Pretty much the defensive mode has like two main features in my opinion. So it can recover base stocks but can't overheal them. It can recover up to 4, so if you get down to 1 stock it can recover you back up to 5. And also if you get down to 1 stock, it'll do like a Madoka thing, where it's going to time stop enemies for I think 25 seconds. Arguably can be a support unit, I don't know, maybe it would be like right here or something. Not too crazy. But I'm going to put the defense mode in the good tier. I feel like for the investment, it's just not that good. I mean, they still are full AoE, pretty good damage with the weakened effect, but overall it's not too crazy. Here we have the final rankings. Of course, at the end of the day, this list is just my opinion, so feel free to let me know what you think in the comments down below. And I'm also sorry I didn't drop this video for a couple days after the update, as I've been busy with a couple other games we're updating. I played the AV update. I've been grinding for videos on the Anime Guardians update and Anime Rangers X, but I don't know, no luck with those yet. But anyway, yeah, that's it for the tier list video. Thank you to my channel members for making this video possible. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you in the next one. Have a great day.